Hey, welcome back to Scratch. Corey Frost, who you saw in the last story, is one of a number of people who have taken part in a DIY press tour called the Perpetual Motion Roadshow. It sends comic book makers, hip-hoppers, and zinesters on the road together in one car to a bunch of different cities across North America. It's the brainchild of Jim Munroe, and it's run on indie culture networking, the internet, and a little bit of couch surfing.
Welcome to the Perpetual Motion Roadshow. This is the Toronto stop. This is the first stop for what will be, for these three participants, a 7-city and 8-day tour.
Parents, parole officers, get ready for rap camp.
It's basically for people in the indie press scene who are interested in performing their work rather than reading it. It doesn't always mean that they never have a book, but it means that they definitely put more liveliness into it than your average reading.
The other thing I'm going to read for you tonight is a short story. It's in the newest issue of my zine, which is up at the table, and it's called Treehouse. Earlier that day, she had left marks on my back while we were fucking. Her fingernails were short but surprisingly sharp. Now she was scratching at her wrist with a safety pin. I saw the tour when they came through Chicago, which is where I'm from, in May, and I thought it was a really great idea, and I went to the website and I filled out an application, sent in my stuff, and I never expected that I'd actually be on the tour, but here I am, so I'm pretty excited.
I want the heel to tell us what we should do about SARS.
I would have taken the Rolling Stones, and I would put each one of them in a figure 4 leg lock. And I would have sacrificed them to the dark god of Canada, the Kingfisher. Most readings seem to be sponsored by a larger publisher who can afford to put the costs on. Here it's volunteer power, and that makes a big difference. So you get sort of voices that are from the people, and it's just a little bit different than someone whose professional job is to be a writer. You have very high quality work, but people coming from all sorts of different walks of life.
I was thinking, you know, it's a shame that we've got this neat little loop here, and it's not no one's gonna make use of it until I put it on another book, you know. So I just decided at that point, well, I could basically set up the infrastructure for people maybe that aren't necessarily as organizationally inclined as I am, and you know, in that way kind of give back to the indie press community that basically allowed me to be independent.
I think we're going to have a great time just entertaining the heck out of everybody and just travel. I mean, all three of us are from different areas across North America, and we're just going to get to expose our stuff to everybody.
Maybe we'll come up with some weird stuff when we're like all fried from being on the road for hours.
It's good to get out of your shell, out of your comfort zone, experience new things, and yeah, all these sorts of new connections will come together, I think, being on the road, you know, in ways that you don't anticipate, you can't even guess at. Just know that they're out there.
We got some press in the Ottawa Sun.
Oh,
They a couple mistakes. They didn't get the names exactly right, but hey, we'll take what we can get starting out.
They called me a poetess, which freaks me out because now there's going to be this stigma attached to me that I'm like some sort of...
The poet stigma stench. We're in Montreal, around Saint Laurent, a very cool street. Lots of record stores and eateries, and we picked up some papers just because, you know, it makes our moms feel better about us spending this much money on the road. We have a nice picture of Jessica. And
we just do this slang thing with the kids. It's called street slang here at rap camp. I don't know if y'all familiar with that term.
You might be a punk rocker if your mom says, "Quit looking so glum. Your life's not that rough, is it?"
Oui, oui. Bonjour, Montreal. Merci beaucoup. This is Wred Fright calling from the road from Montreal. We have just finished our tour stop here, and it was a lot of fun.
Trying to put all our press and posters on the bottom so we don't get stopped at the border.
This is our day off, but we're still driving because we're in perpetual motion. You know you're on the road when You are brushing your teeth at the rest stop.
Who are you? Alex asked me. Courtney Love? No! Who? I'll give you a hint, I said.
I was in Cincinnati once. That place sucked. I'm so glad to be out there. Anyway, I'm looking good tonight, ain't I? Woo! Yeah!
There it is. There's issue number 5. I don't even have any of those left.
How many miles between here and your previous gig?
About 250, 300. Cincinnati was yesterday. We put on almost 600 since Cleveland, which was 2 days ago. The final show is tonight. But in the meantime, we are staring at corn.
I had to get my notebook because there were things I was thinking about while I was driving and I wanted to write them down before I forgot.
This is a future zine in the act of creation.
Probably.
Here.
All right! Great to be back in New York City. Last time I was in Madison Square Garden. This time I'm at Blue Stockings. This rules! All right, who's ready to get a problem solved? I hear you had some problems in New York City. I've come to take care of those problems.
It's a complicated process getting people in one car around the country and around various cities. So.
Have you ever had any complaints from the artists about the lodgings?
No, not so far, no. And actually, they're not staying at my place tonight, so I'm off the hook.
Last night I slept on someone's floor. Unfortunately, because I was taking the subway and we separated throughout the city, I had to sleep on a towel because I left my bedding behind. And so we're sleeping in a lot of different places, so we traveled light as possible. Because we also know one thing about zines that's interesting is, not with the merch, we trade almost as much as people buy from us, so we end up with almost as much stuff.
We've had good audiences that we've been well received. Like, people have been having a good time and just enjoyed hanging out with us afterwards as well, as much as, you know, seeing the performances. So I think for me, I would say that I've been having a good time, and I think the rest of us have too.
It's nice when people buy things, but it's not the most important thing to me. The most important thing is just getting out there and meeting new people.
This thing called the Perpetual Motion Roadshow. So yo, I gotta let you know that we got stories to tell. Make sure that it sounds real good when we tell them. Hard to tell what I'm saying, but I spell them. O-U-T-F-O-R-Y-O-U. My name is Les, and that's how we do.